first let us discuss what kind of template we should follow for the daily routine. And as I told you, we will also learn some words related to daily routine. I want everybody to pay utmost attention because this is one of the very important topics that you will cover in A1. So by the end of A1, there are some topics that you should be able to speak on or write on. This is one of them. That is your daily routine. So daily routine will be called Rotina Diária. Or we can also say Rotina Diária. Em português brasileiro, in Brazilian Portuguese, we can say Rotina Diária. Or we can say Rotina Diária em português europeu, in European Portuguese. Okay, então, this is our daily routine. So what all we will learn in this? First, we will learn we'll look at a template of daily routine, what you will follow and write your own daily routine on the same. Then we will look at some verbs, and these verbs will be reflexive verbs. We will come to know what is reflexive verbs. These are reflexive verbs that we will learn. Okay. At the end of it, we will form our own daily routine. So first, let us come with the verbs. Before we do the template, let's learn some verbs. So I told you reflexive verbs. Now by the word reflexive, we understand reflection. Just what you understand by reflection. For example, a light is getting reflected. So it is, going to a surface and coming back to the same source. That is reflection, how we understand it. So reflexive verbs are the verbs where the person who is doing the action and the person who is receiving the result of that action is the same person. Let me write this and I'll explain it. The doer and the receiver of the result of the action. So let's say the doer of the action is the same person. The doer of the action and the receiver of the action is the same person. This is what we call the reflexive verb. For example, if I say, I wake up at 6 a.m. Now, if you look at this sentence, who is the doer of the action here? I want some quick responses.
I, myself.
I myself. And at the end of the action, who is actually waking up?
Myself.
Myself. So this is what we call the doer of the action and the result of the action is the same person. Now, this always does not have to be like this. It can also be something like, I wake up my son at 6 a.m. So in this sentence that you can see the doer of the action is I, but the result of that action is on the son. That is a third person. Okay? So the result of the action is on someone else. For example, I call myself Raka. This is how I say my name, Eu me chamo Raka. So I call myself Raka. Now the doer of the action is I, and the result of the action is on myself only. Right? I call myself. But if I say something like, I call you at, let's say, at night. I call you at night. So here the doer of the action is I, but the receiver of the action is you. So this is what I mean by the doer of the action and the receiver of the result of the action is the same person. So we will actually look at these kind of sentences, the ones I'm marking in yellow, where the doer and the receiver is the same person. Now, it does not have to always be the subject of I. It can be any subject. For example, if I say, he remembers the verbs. Okay? He remembers the verbs. Now, I'm not explicitly saying that he remembers himself. I'm not saying anything like this. But let's understand this sentence. He remembers the verbs. Now, who is taking the action of remembering? That is he. Now, who is actually remembering at the end of the action? That is also he. Okay? जो रिमेम्बर करने का एक्शन है वो भी वही कर रहा है और उसका इफेक्ट भी उसी पे हो रहा है. So this is a reflexive word. It can be used with any subject. It can be I, you, he, she, we, they, anything. It can be any person. So first of all, this is the concept of the reflexive verbs. Now, why are we reading this topic with the daily routine? Because if you see the actions of the daily routine, they are mostly all done to yourself. We all do these actions by ourselves and the effect is on ourselves. For example, waking up, getting up, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, all these actions are mostly something you do on yourself, unless you are doing it on someone else. So mostly these verbs are reflexive. Now let us come to the Portuguese context of it. So if I say something like, I wake up at 6 a.m., let's take the same sentence again. In Portuguese, we will say, eu acordo-me às 6 horas. Eu acordo-me. In this, we actually add a reflexive pronoun. And I will come to that. What is a reflexive pronoun? Next, I call myself Raka. Eu chamo-me Raka. He remembers the verbs. Ele lembra-se os verbos. So these things that you can see after the verb, these are called reflexive pronouns. So wherever you see the use of reflexive verbs, it actually has two elements. There is the verb and there is the reflexive pronouns. So our next point will be reflexive verbs have two elements. The verb itself and the reflexive pronoun. Now let us understand how to use these verbs. Just like we conjugate any other verb, we conjugate the reflexive verbs also. But as I told you, there are two elements in this. You have to conjugate the verb, and along with that, according to the subject, you have to conjugate the reflexive pronoun as well. Not conjugation, it actually changes with the different subjects. Let's see how we conjugate the reflexive verbs. So let's take our common subjects. Eu, tu, você, ele, ela, nós, vocês, eles, elas. Let's take the verb acordar. Acordar is to wake up. Now, as I told, we will conjugate the verb and we will add the respective reflexive pronoun as well. So, what will be the conjugation of acordar according to eu? It's a regular air ending verb.
Acordo.
Muito bem. Very good. Very prompt answer. Eu acordo. Okay. Now, with this, I have to add the reflexive pronoun as well. Eu acordo-me. Okay. For example, eu acordo-me tarde. I wake up late. Tu. With tu, what will the conjugation?
Acordar.
Accordas. Very good. I'm really impressed today that you are all answering very promptly with the verbs. Okay, so let's say tu não acordaste até o meio-dia. Don't you wake up till midday? Now in this, there's a slight change. When we are making questions, then we actually use the reflexive verb before the reflexive pronoun before the verb. Tu não acordas até o meio-dia. The reflexive verb here is used, the reflexive pronoun here is used before the verb. Can everybody please go on mute? I'm getting a noise. So in this one, the reflexive pronoun will be used before the verb. So there's another point here. When we are talking about the reflexive pronoun, we need to understand that the reflexive pronoun generally comes after the verb, but it will come before the verb in case of questions and negative sentences. So questions and negative sentences, this reflexive pronouns comes before the verb. So tu não te acordas? It's a question. Don't you wake up? Tu não te acordas até o meio-dia? Let's come to você, Aliela. The conjugation will be
Acorda.
Acorda.
acorda. Muito bem. And with this, the reflexive pronoun is sir. For example, ela acorda-se muito cedo. She wakes up very early. Then we have nós. The conjugation is
Acordamos.
Acostos.
and the reflexive pronoun is nos, nos, but without the accent. So we call this nos. Now, because of some phonetic reasons, because of some reasons in pronunciation, we actually do not repeat the sound of mush and nush back to back. See, if I pronounce this as it is, it will be akordamush nush. So we don't want to repeat the sound of mush and then again nush back to back. So what we do here is we remove the S from the first word and we make it like this, akordamu nush. Ideally, it should be akordamush nush, according to the conjugation and the reflexive pronoun. But because of the phonetic reasons, when it comes afterwards, we'll just say acordamu nush. Por exemplo, acordamos nos tarde porque não dormimos ontem. Okay. We wake up late because we did not sleep yesterday. Now this is a statement. So this is a statement without any question or without any negative words. So the reflexive pronoun nush is coming after the word. But if we use a question, for example, nos acordamos cedo amanhã. Do we wake up early tomorrow? Do we have to wake up early tomorrow? Now, in this, it's a question. So we are using the reflexive pronoun before the verb. So we don't have that issue of pronunciation here. That's why we are using the complete word acordamos. So to understand this, we just need to understand the concept that here we are making the changes only to not pronounce mush and nush back to back. So we are doing it acordamu nush, but doesn't mean that the conjugation is changing. So when we are asking a question and the reflexive pronoun comes before the verb, in that case we are writing the complete verb acordamush. Here we will not say acordamu, it's acordamush. So nush acordamos cedo amanhã. Is this clear to everyone? The nosh part? Okay, ótimo, gente. Last one is você, Shaili, Shailesh. What will be the conjugation?
Acordam.
Acordar.
Acordão.
Acordar.
Se. The reflexive pronoun is again se. Okay, all these reflexive pronouns and verbs will have a hyphen in between. They actually come like this. This is the ideal way. They should come with a hyphen. Many cases you will see that there's no hyphen used in many books also. But ideally it should come like this with a hyphen in between. Ok, acordam-se. Por exemplo, eles acordam-se às 7 horas quando tem escola. They wake up at 7 when they have school. So this is how we use the reflexive verb. We will conjugate the verb according to our normal formula that we have learned, and we will use the reflexive pronouns. So these are the reflexive pronouns. This ma, the, sa, nush, and sa again for elishler husish. These are called the reflexive pronouns. The only difference between the reflexive verb and the non-reflexive verb is that the use of the reflexive pronoun. The use of reflexive pronoun demonstrates that we are actually using a reflexive verb. Now the same verb can be used as a reflexive and non-reflexive form. For example, like we saw that example, eu levanto-me às 7 horas. This is a reflexive use. We can see the reflexive pronoun here. Levanto-me is I get up. There's a difference between acordar and levantar. Acordar is to wake up, whereas levantar is to get up, actually leave the bed. So eu levanto-me às 7 horas, but eu levanto o meu filho às 7:30. This is a non-reflexive use. Here the receiver of the action is filho. So this is a non-reflexive use. So the conclusion is that the same word can be used as a reflexive or as a non-reflexive verb as well. So let us see some common verbs used in daily routine. First, we will see the two verbs that we saw. So first, let's say acordar is the first thing that we do. Acordar means
To wake up.
yes. And then what is to get up?
Levantar.
Levantar. Un momento. These are the verbs I'm giving you, and you will form a daily routine using these verbs. Levantar. So let me use it in the reflexive form. Let's say acordar-se. This is the original form of the verb. After this, we can conjugate it like acordum, acordaste. Like this, we can conjugate it. Levantar-se. To get up. What is the next thing that you would do? Like take a bath. To take a bath, we will use
Brush.
yes, to brush. Yes. Let's escover os dentes. So escovar-se. Now escovar-se is to brush. Now we can use this verb to either brush your teeth, or it can also be used to brush your hair. So we need to mention escovar-se os dentes. Instead of this, if I say escovar-se o cabelo, that means to brush your hair. Then we have banhar. In this one, we can use it in reflexive or non-reflexive verb, same thing. We have another word, tomar dush. This is a non-reflexive verb, but we can use it on ourselves as well. Okay, eu tomo dush. I take a bath. So banhar word is mostly used in Brazilian Portuguese, whereas in European we mostly use tomar dush, to take a bath. Apart from this, we can also use the word lavar-se. Lavar-se means to wash yourself. That is also to take a bath. Then pantear-se. Sorry, it's not pantear, pentear. Pentear-se is literally to comb hair. In this one, you don't need to mention o cabelo because pentear itself means to comb your hair. Then you can use the verb vestir-se, to dress up or to get ready. Then we can use a non-reflexive verb like cozinhar, cook, cozinhar o café de manhã. Then comer, eat, comer café de manhã. Or we can also use tomar o café. So if you are talking about coffee or tea, then we can use the verb tomar, to take. Okay? Tomar o café ou chá. Or we can use with, let's say, along with cozinhar, we can also use preparar, to prepare. These are non-reflexive verbs, okay? Because you cook, but the action of that cooking is on something else. It is on the objects that you're cooking. The vegetables, maybe the items that you're cooking. The effect of that action is on the items that you're cooking. So this is a non-reflexive verb. Tomar un café or chá. It's a non-reflexive verb. Because when you're taking a coffee, you are the person who are taking it, but the coffee is the receiver of the action. You're not the receiver of the action. So the doer and the receiver is different. It's a non-reflexive one. Then let's say sair da casa, leave the house. So you can add something like sair da casa para o trabalho, for work, or para a universidade, for university. Anything like that. Para a escola. Then you can use chegar, to reach. So wherever you reach, to reach your work, to reach your university, to reach your school, chegar. Then we can say like começar o trabalho, to start the work, to begin the work. So começar is to start. Começar. Then we can use a verb called almoçar. Almoçar is to have lunch. We have a specific verb in this. In English, we use the word to eat or to have lunch, which is a common verb. But in Portuguese, specifically to have lunch, we call it almoçar. We cannot use this verb in the time of breakfast or at night while having dinner. We can only use it for lunch. Almoçar is literally to have lunch. Again, a non-reflexive word. Then we can say relaxar, to relax. Then we can say terminar o trabalho, or terminar a escola, to end or to finish. Terminar. Or you can use the words completar, to complete, finalizar, to complete. Finalizar does not mean to finalize, okay? It means to complete, to finish. Okay, then we can use the word voltar. Voltar means to return, to come back. Or you can say chegar a casa. We use the verb chegar also to reach. Chegar a casa. Then you can add things like preparar o jantar, to prepare the dinner. Preparar, it's an ER ending verb. Then the word jantar itself is to have dinner. You can use something like descansar, to rest. Or asistir TV, to watch television. Or ler o jornal, to read a newspaper or a magazine. Ler livros, to read books. Then whatever hobbies you pursue, you can add that in here. Then ir para cama, to go to bed. Did we do the conjugation of the ir verb, guys? Can you please remind me if we have done it?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So you can conjugate the ir verb accordingly. It is again a non-reflexive verb, to go to bed. Okay. Then dormir, to sleep. Then we'll again come back to acordar. So this is your daily routine. Now you can not only just speak about your daily routine, but you can also include things that you might do weekly. For example, eu encontro os meus amigos no fim de semana, or eu acordo tarde no sábado. I wake up late on Saturday. Or let's say, eu vou para as compras no domingo. I go for shopping. As compras, shopping. Apart from this, the words you need to know is the meals of the day. The first meal will be called café de manhã. So café de manhã is is used in Brazilian Portuguese, whereas in European Portuguese we use the word pequeno almoço. Pequeno almoço. Then we have the word almoço for lunch. And lastly, we have jantar for dinner. This word jantar can be used as a noun, and the same word is used as a verb as well. Jantar. So this is to have dinner. Now this is our daily routine. So we will start with acordar, levantar, and along with this you can actually add the real things that you do during your day.